One size fits nobody, and that's why we have dozens of control panel variations. Your first thought might be, okay, nice, but how do I know what they support? The secret is they all run the same software. They support the same devices, and the difference is in what you see, the knobs, buttons, faders, and joysticks, and the physical size. And every panel, they talk to the same gear. It just depends on how much space, how much direct access you need, if you want fancy NKK buttons or a better joystick, or how compact you want it. The moment you get this, you are set free to design your dream setup. And in this video, I'll journey you through the smallest switcher to the largest Mega Panel, and we'll be starting with MiniFly. So this panel has been around for quite a long while. It's connected to an ATEM switcher, and the software I talked about looks like this. It's called Reactor. It runs straight out of the MiniFly. It also runs straight out of the Mega Panel. So you see that same UI that you're looking at right here. That UI will be available on any of these products. They are having the same devices and the configurations, and you can always go and customize, and it will look like this just for the other devices. But let's look at the MiniFly, because it doesn't really matter what it's connected to. It has, in this case, preview program. We have cut button. If I hold down shift, we have additional buttons that's accessible. And because this is a compact one, you have a lot of stuff crammed into a small space. We also have the ability to page through multiple pages up here. So that shift key is a magic little button that has the sides activated to give us access to additional stuff apart from choosing our transition style, to mix rate, to cutting on our upstream keys and downstream keys. And if I hold down here, it's an auto function instead. You see that change in the header up there. And here we have auxiliaries that can be addressed, 6 auxiliaries, and we can select sources by using the sides of the buttons, etc. This is media players, and this is macros, and there's so much stuff in the MiniFly. But now we will move on to the LiveFly. Different size, more direct access to buttons. We have 9 instead of 6. We have encoders. We still have 6 up here. We have a bigger section for transitions. We also do have a fader, just like the MiniFly had a fader. And there are now displays to show the name of the sources, which was not available on the MiniFly. We have still a shift key so we can access additional sources, but we now have a menu that allows us to browse through different options up here. But you see many of the same things. For instance, you see here the transition style selection, the mix rate, the cut, and the auto of the up and downstream keys. We see that we have auxiliary sources. So and then media player selections here. So there are additions, but there are also much of the same patterns happening up here. We just have it spaced out over more buttons and more direct access, which is convenient. Separate cut, separate audio button, etc. And that's the LiveFly controller, just stepping up from the MiniFly. The next one I want to show you is the AirFly. Larger size, more direct access, and certainly on this controller, it is price point wise more or less like the LiveFly over here, but it doesn't have as many displays. It has more direct buttons. So now you see labels on the buttons for selecting different categories of things, selecting your transition styles instead of seeing it in a display. You do still have a row with some selection of buttons that has labels in them. The arrangement in the configuration is slightly different, so we can select the ME on the sides here. We can also go and select our bus, so auxiliary bus. So it's laid out differently. If you want to select the source for the auxiliary bus, you select the bus here, and then you select the source on these buttons, and then you can hold down shift, go back again, and that's a pattern you also see on AirFly Pro. We have direct keys to enable the keys, so cut the keys on and off, auto for the keys, tying them to the next transition. We do have a fader block, very much like the LiveFly. So generally on AirFly, you have just more buttons, less displays. Again, it's more direct access preferred over having the flexibility of buttons with OLED displays that makes them insanely flexible. And that's your choice. This is the thing that you have to decide what fits me best in the use case that I have in mind. Am I going with the AirFly? Am I going with the LiveFly? Or am I going to the AirFly Pro? AirFly Pro, larger size, more buttons, more displays, more flexibility, real T-bar. We have a PDC section, And that's just crazy. This is one of the favorite panels with customers. It's my favorite panel. You do have the option of NKK keys on this one, but it does all the basic things. And as I promised you, the software looks the same. It looked like this on AirFly, on LiveFly, as it did on MiniFly. It is connecting to the switcher. The panel is here. We have configuration that reflects the panel. So all that is already in place. And did you notice all of these panels, they are working with a single wire. That's an Ethernet cable, PoE powered. So it just needs this cable, and I can shut down my laptop and it will still work because it's self-contained. It has absolutely no ties to any computer behind. It will talk directly to your switches or cameras with no external help except through the configuration phase. Let's take a quick glance. Preview, program, T-bar operation, cut, transition selection. We have, again, ME selection up here. We can select buses like auxiliary buses, which bus is it. We can assign sources. We can go back to the standard view. We can recall macros. We can even go back and we can do audio adjustments on the master volume, etc. We have keyer selection up there on the very top for downstream keyers, upstream keyers, and tying them to next transition, etc. And we can even access additional PTZ cameras using this section, which is not enabled on this one. And that's what makes the AirFly Pro so super, super, super great. But that's even not the final destination, because we have Master Key 1 coming up. Master Key 1, larger size, again, more buttons or different buttons. These are NKK buttons, so the ones that are loved, appreciated across the whole broadcast industry. Same T-bar as AirFly. We have some encoder knobs over here, so different layout, different appeal, different sort of control room you want to build this into, and this is of course a favorite with the highest broadcast professionals around. So you have many of the same patterns of selecting your ME, addressing your auxiliary buses, so those patterns are built in by our default configs. You can always do your own thing if you want. This is still a single cable PoE powered panel, and we have now reached more or less the end of how big a single controller is gonna get, because if you want to go bigger, we're still not done. But you're gonna reach out for your Master Key 48. It's not a larger panel just yet, still the same amount of buttons, just until I click the Master Key 48 onto the Master Key 1. I have a little cheat key here. If I press and hold, it is going to reload a project on the Master Key 1 that now makes it the host of the Master Key 48, and voila. What you see now is that these two panels are working together as a whole to communicate to the video switcher behind. So I basically have just made two panels into a single one. That's modularity. That's another SKAARHOJ specialty, that we have designed our whole ecosystem to bring things together just like this. Now we have the menu out here for ME selection. We have the bus selection key here, and it's just extending. But even this is not the end. From MiniFly to Mega Panel, 1ME, 2ME, 3ME, 4ME, rails you can use to mount them. You can quickly change modules. It's magnetically snapping into place. Ethernet cable, PoE, super clean. You have the ability to run different switches. We have ROS, 2 MEs, we have an 810 ME here. We can select the ME still on this one. There's so much flexibility. You could separate it out and have it be 2 mega panels on any day and then come together and be one huge mega panel. This is SKAARHOJ's concept. This is how we give you the flexibility to choose the form factor you really, really need. No need to compromise. You'll have it all from the control concepts of reactor, SKAARHOJ's modularity, and all the different form factors we are supplying you. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. You can subscribe to our newsletter if you want, and there is always human beings behind us, so you can reach out to our sales and support team for a chat about which solution fits you best. Thanks for watching.